Chapter 400. 262. After getting drunk on the rivers and mountains, they are stored in the pot. When spirits and ghosts have free time, they are collected inside the case. 3K. King Shinkang sipped his tea, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. The 3 mountains and 5 sacred peaks, the famous mountains of Buddha Tao, the 5 lakes and 4 seas, how many events of past and present, how many literary scholars and martial artists, all have left their mark within. A martial artist should embrace heaven and earth, see the world, see all living beings, witness 1,000 sails, and only by suddenly looking back can they see themselves. In the old world, inconvenient transportation and a lower limit on martial arts meant that martial artists might spend 3 to 5 years, or even their entire lives, to find their own Tao. Lu Chenju was enlightened. "Thank you, Grandmaster." After he left, the disciples of his school watched Lu Chenju's retreating figure. Shiruyu remarked with emotion, "By the time junior brother returns, he may already be at the level of breakthrough second." Jai Feiyan said with envy, "In just a few years to break the second shackles is truly unimaginable." Jai Chuantong silently returned to the practice room to open his acupoints. Chen Jiu was not at home. Lu Chenju entrusted Chen Zioan to help take care of his master's wife. The girl agreed readily, and even refused the great merit offered by Lu Chenju. Chen Zioan hummed, "Do you consider me an outsider, huh? Remember, we were the best teammates back in the day, even though your advancement was so fast that you left your golden partner out in the cold." Lu Chenju. Before he departed, Wang Hongdao also came to see him off. "Brother Lu, I wish you a smooth journey." "Brother Wang, have you exchanged your hammer yet?" "Not yet, just a bit more to go." "No worries, I rarely use the hammer, and it's only with the divine power of our whale form that we use such heavy weapons. This dog slaughter hammer I am determined to get." "Brother Wang, care for a match?" "Oh, better not." Even the battle-hungry Wang Hongdao hesitated. But after some thought, he decided to try once more. Then with just a single spear thrust, Wang Hongdao was sent flying along with his hammer. Wang Hongdao sat on the ground, watching Lu Chenju's distant figure. Could it be that Brother Lu has already achieved breakthrough second? Principal Wang's villa. "How do you plan to travel long distances, brother? By vehicle or on foot?" Wang Xian, who had emerged from seclusion, hadn't achieved breakthrough fourth, but his spirit had improved significantly compared to half a year ago. By vehicle, I guess. Walking allows for appreciating the scenery along the way, but it's too much of a waste of time. Although I have graduated from Martial Arts University, I haven't completed my acupoints." Lu Chenju understood his senior brother's meaning. All 3 great martial arts systems have an ascetic way of cultivation, measuring the world with their feet, harmonizing their inner selves with nature, and achieving unity of heaven and man in the long journey. This method is greatly beneficial for spiritual cultivation. However, he had no time. Moreover, just for the breakthrough second shackles, there was no need for such arduous cultivation. Wang Xian's eyes lit up and he smiled. "In that case, I'll lend you my divine chariot." As a car enthusiast, he had been relentlessly promoting this vehicle to Lu Chenju, but given his junior brother's financial situation, he wasn't going to be able to afford it anytime soon. "That's too valuable, I'm afraid I might damage it." "No worries, it's insured." "Then thank you, senior brother." Lu Chenju felt a warmth welling up in his heart. Senior brother was generous. Wang Xian said, "If you encounter danger on your journey, contact me at any time. I have many friends among the martial arts geniuses of Dazia, and they can all lend a hand." He was not worried about enemies at the breakthrough first level. With his junior brother's strength, he was a rare match at his current level. If he participated in the all-nations martial arts tournament, he would surely make it into the top 10 of the yellow list, without a doubt. There was even hope for first place, but he worried about dark forces that couldn't take a loss and might bully with a higher level of cultivation. On the other hand, Wang Changming, who had been searching for something in the bedroom, also came out. He took out a red jade token, emitting an ancient aura, warm to the touch. Wang Changming smiled. "Finally found it. This is the token your grandmaster gave me before he attempted to break the 7th shackles. Keep it with you as a talisman for protection." Wang Xian's expression changed slightly, but he said nothing. Lu Chenju took the jade token, examining it with curiosity. "Thank you, master." "Don't put it in your storage bag. wear it close to your body. This disciple understands. Off you go then, enjoy the vast landscape out there. Master senior brother, I take my leave. After leaving the house, Lu Chenju solemnly placed the jade token close to his chest. He stood in front of the divine chariot, looking back at the villas scattered along Stone Lake. His sect, his friends, everything that mattered most to him was here. He would guard this place well. Settling into the driver's seat of the divine chariot, Lu Chenju said, Xiao, activate the automatic cruising mode destination, Zhejiang province. His first stop on this journey was still Zhejiang. Apart from Dragon and Tiger Mountain, there were many other historical sites to explore. Tangwang Pavilion, Sanking Mountain, Lu Mountain. Boom, the tail flames of the divine chariot blazed, and it soared away. Wang Xian, watching as the light disappeared into the sky, asked, Master, that jade token, is the vermilion bird sky burning sword, right? Wang Changming turned to look at his third disciple. How did you know? Wang Xian smiled. I guessed. Wang Changming said, let's hope he won't need to use it on this journey. Qingcheng Mountain, one of the four famous Taoist mountains of Dezia. Its Taoist lineage is also inextricably linked with the first-generation heavenly master Zhang, and has been the source of countless legends since ancient times. With its continuous peaks, Qingcheng Mountain has 8 caves, 36 peaks, and 108 scenic spots. Within these 36 peaks, clouds and fog shroud the mountains day after day. For the Qingcheng Grandmasters all reside in seclusion here, cultivating ascetically and discussing the Tao. 8 winding paths lead through caves to secluded beauty, emitting a cascade of multicolored dawn light all day long. This place is the cultivation ground for top-level powerhouses. Aside from those who venture into the world to hone their skills and the mighty who wander in all directions, the top powerhouses remaining in the academy to guard Qingcheng Mountain withdraw from the world right here. These 8 are known as the Qingcheng 8 Immortals. Kaiyang Cave is the foremost among the 8 caves. The occupant of this place is the aged principal of Qingcheng. On this day, within Kaiyang Cave, rolling multicolored rainbow lights spread out, expanding across the mountains and fields with the intent to drape most of the lands of Qingcheng Mountain in splendid attire. Such a phenomenon caused the 36 peak grandmasters to become alarmed. Gaze after gaze turned toward Kaiyang Cave. The Grandmaster, what's happening with the Grandmaster? The Grandmaster is about to break through. Is our Qingcheng finally going to have someone reach the absolute peak? Motions of excitement, tension, and unease filled the air. To break the 7 shackles is as difficult as crossing a heavenly chasm. A middle-aged Taoist flew through the air and looked toward Kaiyang Cave. He was the principal of Qingcheng, Canghai True Person, Yu Wen. Ranked at number 57 on the All Nations top power list. The Grandmaster has been accumulating efforts at the 6th End realm for 100 years. He must succeed. Meanwhile, in the sight of countless Qingcheng disciples, within Kaiyang Cave, a gaunt figure faintly emerged, wearing a tattered Taoist robe and appearing under the sunlight. Everyone was shocked. The figure before them turned out to be a skeleton, its bones covered in fluctuating rainbow halos, devoid of any cold death chi, and instead full of vibrant life. With each step he took, a rainbow bridge spread out behind him, and the 7 colored clouds were drawn from the heavens and the earth, forming his muscles, blood vessels, organs, brain. Such a scene, unheard of, unseen before, was like an immortal law. Moments later, a young Taoist stood tall above the clouds. With hands clasped behind his back, he gazed upon the Qingcheng disciples and said with a smile, Disperse, my path to the absolute peak is complete. Time to meet with old friends. With that said, he waved his sleeve and turned into a rainbow light, disappearing into the sky. And Immortal, the 14th absolute peak of Dezia. Our Qingcheng is flourishing. Aboard the divine chariot, Lu Chenju was practicing heavenly pile. Technology changes martial arts. When I have the money, I must buy a divine chariot. Not only can it take me on long journeys to broaden my horizons, but I can also continue to cultivate without delay during the trip. Cultivating on the divine chariot was no issue in terms of safety. The flying vehicle cruised at an altitude of 5,000 meters, so unless an enemy could fly, even those with Grandmaster cultivation would find it impossible to reach such heights and certainly couldn't catch up to the divine chariot. The only concerns were certain flying void things or cultists. As for missiles and such, firstly, the Black Knight organization generally didn't possess such technology, and secondly, these types of thermal weapons were easily intercepted by Dazia's air defense systems. Furthermore, he was a martial artist. There was no need for such exaggerated warfare. The red jade plate on his chest was warm and comforting. The warmth was mirrored in Lu Chenju's heart. His intuition told him that this jade plate was anything but ordinary. Suddenly, his expression changed, and his spirit entered the inner scenery land. Boom, boom, boom. The martial arts peak at the center of the field trembled violently, the ground compressed, the earth's crust moved, and the peak grew wider and higher before his very eyes. What is this? Lu Chenju was witnessing such a scene for the first time. Between heaven and earth, a clear laughter resonated, as if coming from an ethereal, immortal source. Mountains and rivers fit into my pot after their drunken spree. Gods and demons are put away leisurely into my box. Looking up at the summit within the lingering clouds, a young Taoist in a colorful robe seemed to be hanging a precious gourd at his waist, a green snake sword in hand, as if challenging the heavens in a test of height. Another absolute peak. Lu Chenju's spirit was profoundly shaken. It was the first time he felt so immersed in the birth of a new absolute peak. It looks like another prominent figure from the Seeking Tao academies. His spirit left the inner scenery land. At the same time, news on the divine chariot was being broadcast on all channels. The aged principal of Qingcheng Academy, Hong Taoist, has broken through the seventh shackles and confirmed his position at the absolute peak. At this moment, Dazir as a whole, the nation was seething with excitement. Lu Chenju turned on his phone. The Internet Martial Arts Circle, forums of various top martial universities, were all abuzz. The birth of every new absolute peak was a major event. The last time it was this lively was when Kangshan Dragon King achieved his breakthrough 7. Absolute peak. Images of those 14 towering figures filled Lu Chenju's mind. Who doesn't wish to stand above the clouds, shining upon the 10 directions in all realms? Zhejiang Province. Dragon and Tiger Academy. Two figures amidst the clouds were engaged in a discussion on the Tao. The one on the left had white hair but a youthful face. He was the Dragon and Tiger Grand Sky Master. On the right, young and handsome, was Hong Taoist Yu Sheng. Yu Taoist friend's ability to verify the absolute peak shows that the cultivation technique, Tei in scripture, is not just theoretically able to break the 7th, but it indeed deserves the name of a supreme divine skill. My breakthrough 7 was different than what I expected. The path I follow after reaching the absolute peak seems to be heading towards a completely different direction from the others. I'm not sure if this is good or bad. What do you mean? I came back to life from the verge of death, achieving enlightenment by disintegrating my body. Corpse disintegration into immortality. Precisely. There's no need for you Taoist friend to worry. After reaching the absolute peak, the physical body is already at the human limit. To continue fighting against the heavens, one can only be like the 8 immortals crossing the sea, each showing their unique abilities. The golden core path that I follow may not be the right one, and Chuanwu Taoist's true martial extreme Tao might be wrong as well. The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. The martial arts journey is long, and we are all but seekers. The truth cannot be sought, nor can the great Tao be pursued. Since you are determined in your heart's desire, then move forward and do not look back. Chapter 401, 263 Prince Tang reminiscing the ancient times, seeking Tao at Lu Mountain, LV Zoo imparting the method, 3K for monthly tickets and subscriptions. Tangwang Pavilion stands towering above the river aisle, with jade pendants and chiming luan, the songs and dances ceased. As one of Jiangnan's 3 famous towers, Tangwang Pavilion was the first stop on Lu Chenju's journey in search of ancient victories and relics, where the divine chariot conspicuously landed beside the Gan River. Gazes swept across. Such a handsome carriage. That's an airplane. Common folks who had never seen such a vehicle all stopped in their tracks to watch. Lu Chenju, with a long spear on his back, looked up at the ancient Tangwang Pavilion. The landscape is part of the view, grandiose and unique. For this long journey, Lu Chenju maintained a calm mindset, hoping to absorb Dao Yun and elevate his fifth theory realm would be best, and even without it, the broadening of his horizons was worth the trip. In fact, he wasn't the only martial artist present. Brother Lu. Suddenly, a voice entered his mind. Lu Chenju focused and saw it was none other than he Daisy, Chen Yuan. His mood lifted at the reunion with an old friend. Brother Chen, long time no see. Chen Yuan became a martial artist last year, with the title Cloud Crane. Chen's father could rest assured now, his aspirations for his son fulfilled. Is Brother Lu here to perceive the Dao Yun as well? How has Brother Chen's experience been? Nothing at all. All right then. Without much hope, Lu Chenju casually roamed the inside of the pavilion. After making a round, he finally settled his gaze on the pavilion's plaque. Tengwang Pavilion. In a trance, he saw a completely different scene. A young scholar of unparalleled grace, with an eternal literary talent, commanded words with ease. He practiced the once popular Heoran Chi Dao, his brush-crafting verses at Tengwang Pavilion that outshone his generation and were proclaimed for all eternity, the classics everlastingly passed on. The Heoran Dao of Confucianism was a once popular martial arts, eventually merging with Buddha Dao and uniting the three religions, evolving into today's cultivation that concurrently refines spirit, qi, and essence. Scenes from the past flashed by as if they were fleeting glances of lights. Lu Chenju stood still, lost in thought for a long time. Chen Yuan looked on in astonishment. Could it be that Brother Lu has made a discovery? His gaze naturally drifted to the Tengwang Pavilion plaque. Although he had some insights, they seemed insufficient to glimpse the Dao Yun within. Chen Yuan came to a realization. It's not that Tengwang Pavilion lacks Dao Yun, but that my own comprehension isn't profound enough. He was in good spirits as he waited for Lu Chenju and continued his observations. In Lu Chenju's mind, the martial arts tree rustled, its trunk visibly growing taller, from 2 zhang originally to now 2 zhang and 1 kai. On the barren land, the greenery grew thicker, and this world became ever more vibrant with life. Even the Meat Divine Palace seemed to take on some of Tengwang Pavilion's grandeur. This Dao Yun subtly transformed the martial arts inner realm. Lu Chenju opened his eyes. His pitch-black pupils reflected the transformation of seas into mulberry fields, the rise and fall of dynasties. One of the founding quartermasters of the Hao ran sect in the Dragon Dynasty, Wang Ziyan. Such a dazzling individual was also confined by his era and ultimately did not enter the great Grandmaster realm. Such characters, in today's view, would all hold the pose of a heavenly king. Lu Chenju pondered the subtleties of the Dao Yun, deriving the variations in fist theory. Vaguely, the fog that enshrouded the fourth realm of the tiger form fist theory became thinner. The swallow form fist theory and the spear skill realm also achieved their own gains. The cultivation levels of ancient sages weren't high, but their martial arts will have transcended the limits of their era. Hence they were able to influence future generations across the expanse of time. Absorbing the essence of Dao Yun would greatly benefit breaking through in fist theory. In today's era, there are many grandmasters, but few are those who leave behind Dao Yun for posterity. The advancement of the times has brought about more grandmasters. However, in terms of the pure value of their capabilities, they are not quite like those early pioneers of the Dao. To the sages, Lu Chenju bowed in respect. Have gained even a little at the first location. This filled him with confidence for the rest of the journey. Chen Yuan asked, Brother Lu, have you gained anything? Yes. All right then, where to next, Brother Lu? Lu Mountain, I suppose. Then let's go together. You can ride in my car. Thank you. The divine chariot soared into the sky, en route to Lu Mountain. Su City. Bai Jingming had already planned to give up on the task of assassinating Lu Chenju. No other reason, this guy was just too much of a homebody. The few times he did go out, he was accompanied by family elders. How was he supposed to make his move? Suddenly, his subordinate came to report. Sir, good news. Spit it out. Lu Chenju has been spotted at Tengwang Pavilion. Tengwang Pavilion, is he on a tour of victory and antiquity? Bai Jingming knew that some people like to travel the world and enlighten themselves on the Tao, so he instantly guessed Lu Chenju's intentions and with a thoughtful expression asked, How did he get there? It seems he took a flying car, the divine chariot. Damn it, he's not playing by the rules. Bai Jingming had originally stationed people at the school gates. But the young man made an unexpected move. Martial arts geniuses, incredibly impressive indeed. I think I know his next destination. Bai Jingming decided to wait for his opportunity. Lu Mountain, while not among the 3 mountains or the 5 peaks, is still one of the top 10 famous mountains of Dazia. Since ancient times, countless scholars and poets have left their mark there. Jinxiu Valley. Twilight was vast, with drifting clouds swiftly passing by. Lu Chenju stood on the edge of a precipice, with a gentle mountain breeze and a swirling sea of clouds. There's boundless scenery at the perilous peaks. Chen Yuan stood shoulder to shoulder with him, sighing with emotion. Between the mountains and rivers there is great wisdom. My master said that to practice crane forms, one must immerse oneself in the mountains and waters, keep company with the ancient pines, sleep with the cool breeze as a pillow, and embrace the white clouds on the return journey. Only then can one comprehend the divine intent of the crane forms. Walking out into the world has indeed proven so. Lu Chenju asked, "Over the past year, where has Brother Chen been?" Chen Yuan replied, "The 3 mountains, the 5 peaks, the famous mountains of Buddha Dao, all bear traces of Dao Yun. Brother Lu can rest assured and visit them. My journey ends in Zhejiang province. Once we tour Sanking Mountain together and visit the place where Ji Xian practiced alchemy, I'll part ways with Brother Lu and return to the mountain." On this long journey, Chen Yuan had already solidified his mastery in the 4th realm of fist theory. Sanshui Waterfall, 5 Elders Peak. The 2 figures were found throughout Lu Mountain. At sunrise, they admired the scenery. At sunset, they practiced their stances and cultivation with heaven and earth as their mat. 2 days passed in a hurry. Finally, the 2 came to the Cave of Immortals. Legend has it that LV Zhu practiced here in seclusion and ascended to immortality. According to scholars of Dazia martial arts history, it's confirmed that LV Zhu achieved the status of Grandmaster and became a land immortal here. This was also the highlight of their trip to Lu Mountain. LV Zhu was a remarkable figure of Taoist, a possessor of the top-tier pure Yang Dao body, a talent not inferior to the 4 great Taoist bodies. However, apart from LV Zhu, no one else had ever been born with this talent, hence it was deemed an extinct Dao body. LV Zhu, throughout numerous dynasties in his later years, successfully broke through the 5th shackle and became the first great grandmaster in human history, reaching above the realm of land immortal. People called him Pure Yang True Immortal. The Cave of Immortals, as an important martial arts heritage site, was protected. Only after showing their martial arts university identifications were they allowed to enter. The cave was not deep. Drip drop, water droplets seeped from the crevices in the rocks. Mist hung in the air, faint like smoke. The 2 found a spot each and sat down cross-legged. On the cliff wall, there were some verses and gathas that LV Zhu had etched during his days of cultivation. One must know that the travelers of clouds and mists are not the people who grind mirrors amidst dust. Don't let the final limit descend upon you, becoming one who drifts in the cycle of birth and death. These verses, now widely circulated, weren't anything unusual. To ordinary people, these inscriptions were nothing special. But to 2 martial arts geniuses observing, they gleaned insights. Threads of Dao Yun spanning across eons weighed heavily and were as impressive as the plaques of Heavenly Master Zhang from Dragon and Tiger Mountain. Even among the heritage of sages, there are levels of distinction. As inheritances from ancestors like LV Zhu and the first Heavenly Master Zhang, they were certainly a notch higher than those left by the 4 heroes of the Heoran sect, as LV Zhu is the eternal master of Dazia martial arts. Even Dragon's Kings or Yang Ju, if present, would reverently address him as Grandmaster Patriarch. With his spirit transcending space and time, Lu Chenju opened his eyes. A Taoist was wandering alone in the cave. With a crest resembling a crane and a shell like a turtle, the body of a tiger and the cheeks of a dragon, his eyes gazed skyward. Truly a figure of a noble Taoist immortal. Standing before you, you would only sigh in wonder. There truly are immortals in this world. Lu Zhu. Lu Chenju murmured softly in his heart. The Taoist almost seemed to hear his call, turning his gaze towards him. Thump 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 thump, Lu Chenju's heart pounded like a drum. He had the illusion that he was directly facing Lu Zhu. Lu Zhu had long since attained Taoist immortality and could not possibly be revived. It could only be said that Lu Zhu's martial arts will was so strong that, even after thousands of years, it was still vivid and vivid. At this moment, Lu Zhu was merely at the peak of breaking through the 3rd shackle. In his hands, he held the Zhinger commentary authored by the first Heavenly Master Zhang, surrounded by a vast sea of Taoist scriptures. The Taoist's eyes were bright with thought. Heavenly Master Zhang's method of the outer elixir isn't viable, for the outer elixir made from heavenly materials and earthly treasures is ultimately an external force. One must cultivate the golden core inside the body to enter the fifth realm. Use essence as kindling, qi as the furnace, and spirit as the fire. Regard the human body as the great medicine. With essence, qi, and spirit unified, cultivate an inner core within the body, and there is hope to enter the fifth realm. Though the Taoist was only of the third realm, his words already pointed to the fifth realm. He possessed knowledge beyond his current realm, a Tao body that was unparalleled across time. He did not wish to be just a land immortal. He aspired to ascend to the clouds and become a celestial immortal. The Taoist alternated between meditating, practicing stances with bizarre poses, practicing boxing, and training in the heavenly escape swordsmanship passed down from the Red Dragon True Man. This swordsmanship, after several transformations, became the supreme divine skill of the heavenly swordsmanship taught at Qian Academic. As time flowed and vegetation withered and bloomed. In the Cave of Immortals, Dao Yun Illusion Realm. Days went by and seasons changed. The Taoist did not remain idle, often with a wine gourd at his waist, and riding the lion he had tamed during his travels in overseas tributary states. He roamed Jiangnan. He subdued fox demons in Sioux City and slayed flood dragons in Huiyang. He played with immortal cranes atop Yuyang Tower and also fooled around with dog demons in the marketplace. Under the heavens, who did not know LV Chenyang? Having achieved success, LV Zhu returned to the Cave of Immortals. In a moment of sudden enlightenment, he stepped into the realm of land immortals. At the moment of achievement, a celestial phenomenon occurred. The sun shined on the incense burner, creating purple smoke, and LV Zhu soared into the sky on a crane, dancing with a sword in the void. His sword chi shot down 3,000 feet, as if the galaxy was descending from the ninth heaven. Lu Chenju was immensely shocked. He had never heard of such phenomena accompanying a grandmaster's ascension. Indeed, LV Zhu could not be measured by common standards. Together with the crane, they vanished into the dark blue sky. Through heaven and earth, a resonant and otherworldly laughter echoed. If you want to become an immortal, you must forget yourself, for without a selfless heart, there is no way to the Tao. To become an immortal, ride a crane to the heavens. One lifetime entering the Tao, all eternity seeking immortality. The sound gradually faded, and Lu Chenju awoke from his reverie. Such a powerful Tao Yun, for a moment, I could hardly tell whether it was a dream or reality. Was it Zhuangzhou dreaming of the butterfly, or the butterfly dreaming of Zhuangzhou? Inner realm. The ground was covered with green grass, spread across the mountains and fields. The scenery was so beautiful, like the summertime in Altaic. Looking at the divine palace again, with carved beams and painted rafters, it was antiquely elegant. In his mind, the martial arts tree towered at 3 zhang tall. Not just this, but when Lu Chenju looked at the main trunk, his expression changed. Cultivation technique. Pure Yang Great Pill Skill, first layer 1%. Chapter 402, 264 True Skill Transformation, 4K. Lu Chenju was somewhat baffled. Pure Yang Great Pill Technique. I haven't cultivated it, have I? What's happening? Where did this cultivation technique suddenly come from? Wait, could it be that he was so immersed in watching LV Zhu cultivate in the illusion that he inadvertently mastered the technique practiced by LV Zhu? Martial arts tree. Lu Chenju intuitively thought. This matter was undeniably related to the martial arts tree. Of course, grasping a cultivation method by observing relics imbued with Dao Yun was not an uncommon occurrence. According to rumors, the young Yachi immortal once discovered an ancient stele in a valley in Kunlun, left by the founder of the old top sect Carefree Palace, the Elder Leisure, and from it, he comprehended 3 lost divine skills. Heavenly Mountain 9 Yang Palm. Carefree Divine Skill. Foresees Eternal Longevity Skill. The third method, after several modifications by Yachi Immortal and Kunlun's Mighty Ones, eventually evolved into Yachi Immortal Scripture, hailed as the longest-lasting divine skill that could preserve youth and keep one forever youthful. It was rumored that upon completion of cultivation, one could even rejuvenate. Like an immortal law, it was unimaginable. Kangshan Dragon King once comprehended the old Pinglai Island divine skill, Star Primordial Dragon Transformation Chapter, from the ruins in the depths of returning ruins of the East Sea, and based on it, continually evolved and amalgamated various methods to create the startling, star primordial magnetic tribulation scripture. To control the supreme magnetic power, with a flick of his wrist, he could lever heaven and earth. There were many such examples, but they all shared one thing in common. These people were either among the absolute peak or contemporary top heavenly king contenders. Their comprehension was not inferior to those ancient sages, born with a heavenly person's stature, 1 in 100 million. Lu Chenju was well aware of his own talent. With his current level of comprehension, it was not to the point of being mentioned in the same breath as the young absolute peak. The inadvertent comprehension of the technique must be the trickery of the martial arts tree. After all, the martial arts tree and the inner world had undergone an earth-shattering transformation. He was curious, how would the inner world evolve in the future? What changes would the martial arts tree undergo as it kept growing taller? While scanning over the leaves of martial arts, Lu Chenju's eyes narrowed. Martial arts. Pure Yang Unlimited Shield. Mastery 13%. Wait, this hard Qigong has also changed. In his mind, the introduction by the unbreakable Taoist echoed. The Pure Yang Shield is a hard Qigong that originated from the Taoist inner elixir skill, profound and pointing directly to the absolute peak Tao. This skill is difficult to learn and master. The complete Pure Yang Shield is a middle-grade true skill, created by LV Zhu, but due to the decline in cross-training, the skill gradually simplified and weakened during its transmission, causing the LV Zhu version of Pure Yang Shield to be lost, leaving only this simplified version. Lu Chenju suddenly understood. During his observation of Dao Yun, he inadvertently completed the Pure Yang Shield, a truly unexpected joy. This Lu Mountain enlightenment session was indeed fruitful. But on the other hand, since Pure Yang Unlimited Shield is a middle-grade true skill, the difficulty of future cultivation will probably increase too. Oh well, let it be. With things having come this far, he had to see it through to the end. After all, cross-training was merely supplemental. He needed only to train at his leisure. As for that Pure Yang Great Pill technique, there was no rush. Lu Chenju needed to understand the pros and cons of this skill before deciding whether to cultivate it. The priority was to achieve the second breakthrough. Present might exceed the past, but what was transmitted by LV Zhu might not necessarily be correct. It could only be said to be valuable and worth referencing. Tiger Demon Tai Sui technique was enough to enable him to achieve the third breakthrough, not to mention, Dragon City itself also possesses divine-level inner strength, Lu Wu Demon Cleansing Scripture, which pointed directly beyond Grandmaster. When Lu Chenju woke up, Chen Yuan inquired, "Brother Lu, have you had any insights?" Lu Chenju nodded and laughingly replied, "Indeed, it's worthy of LV Zhu." Seeing Lu Chenju's satisfied expression, Chen Yuan felt puzzled. Could it be that Brother Lu has also comprehended something else? This Dao Yun comprehension, the difference between high and low comprehension, is dramatic. In the illusion, he had seen a Taoist practicing swordsmanship, which improved his sword Dao realm. Crane forms experts commonly practice swordsmanship after becoming martial artists. Little did he know that Lu Chenju had directly comprehended the methods of LV Zhu. Having departed Lu Mountain, the two boarded the divine chariot, heading towards Sanking Mountain. This was the final stop on Lu Chenju's journey west. Sioux City Dragon Marshal. King Shin Kang Villa. Jai Chuantong nervously watched Jai Feiyan before him. It must succeed, young lady. Overall, old Jai felt reassured. He had spent his earlier life striving primarily to make his daughter a martial artist. His talent was wanting, so he let his daughter and disciple illuminate their lineage. At this moment, Jai Feiyan was immersed in the newly born inner world. With determined steps, various sounds echoed in her ears. Once encountered the Red Dragon Lord, a sword transmission accompanied this body. Jixian achieved greatness late but had a sudden enlightenment and ascended instantly. Immortal dwellings eternal, flora thrives, inner realm purple mansion, longevity between heaven and earth. Jixian. Voices of either famous through the ages or unknown resonated in her mind. Martial arts is boundless, my body unrestrained. A lifetime in pursuit of martial arts, immortality in countless lifetimes. Dragon Lord Wanxixian. Hearing these quotes, Jai Feiyan's eyes couldn't help but moisten. This is martial arts. The further she walked, the heavier her steps became. She wasn't like her martial brother, a martial arts genius. In the end, she was like carrying Five-Finger Mountain, moving forward arduously. Martial artist. Jai Feiyan's entire body was sweaty, and her internals creaked. Outside, Jai Chuantong's heart nearly leapt to his throat. Compared to Chenju, his daughter's breakthrough was more difficult. Yet, this was the norm for martial arts. Martial arts geniuses paved the way for martial arts, advancing its future path. Countless ordinary martial artists also solidified the foundation in their own ways, broadening the breadth of martial arts. Chapter 403, 264 True Skill Transformation, 4K/2. Come on! In the inner scenery land, Jai Feiyan's face was pale. Just 100 more steps. 99. She silently counted in her heart. When only 10 steps remained, her body and mind reached their limits. Jai Feiyan's will was firm. In her fatigue, it seemed as though she heard a familiar voice in her ears. The voice was clear, loud, and soaring. This voice was spirited and commanding. It was the most wonderful martial arts resonance she had ever heard. Because it was her junior brother's voice. Martial arts are not alone. My path is not solitary. In that instant, Jai Feiyan was filled with determination. Martial arts are not alone. My path is not solitary. She cried out and with a resolute attitude burst through that door. She gazed at the martial arts peak, at the 14 absolute peak figures among the clouds. She raised her arms and shouted, like a proud swallow in the storm. Flying swallow see flying unrestrained. Inside the inner scenery land, her most powerful sound lingered on and on. Outside, Jai Chuantong listened to the girl's words and smiled with relief. Jai Feiyan opened her moist eyes and suddenly threw herself into her father's arms. Old Dad, I've succeeded. Old Jai held his daughter and couldn't help but say with tears. When I founded the Flying Swallow Martial Arts Hall, I was waiting for this day. Jai Feiyan looked into the distance and smiled. Dad, I heard junior brother's voice. Father and daughter murmured. Martial arts are not alone. My path is not solitary. Relatives, sect, homeland, civilization. Endless earthly passions, true goodness of the human world, all for martial arts. This day in Sioux City Dragon Martial, another martial artist was born. Hall visitor Jai Feiyan. Sanking Mountain, formerly known as Xiahua Mountain. Yujing, Yuxu, Yuhua. The three peaks stand towering amidst the sea of clouds, like the Taoist realms Taking, Shanking, and Yuking, personified by three respected gods seated between heaven and earth, embodying the principles of heaven and earth. After the fall of Great Yu, the world went through several changes. Wars and strife continued incessantly. After Heavenly Master Zhang, another Taoist high achiever, immortal Master Ji Chuan, traveled to Xiahua Mountain and discovered that the aura here was rich and mellow, perfect for building a hut for alchemy and practicing the Tao. The location Lu Chenju and his companions intended to visit was indeed where immortal Master Ji Chuan had built his hut. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The divine chariot landed in the parking lot at the foot of Sanking Mountain. Chen Yuan remarked, with this vehicle it's truly convenient. Brother Lu, how much did it cost you? My senior brother lent it to me. This thing is less than 100 million. I couldn't afford it. I see. The two chatted casually as they headed up the mountain. Ding lingo. Lu Chenju answered the phone. It was Jai Feiyan's excited voice. Junior brother, I'm a martial artist now. Congratulations, congratulations. He, I was in the inner scenery land and heard your resonance. Okay, senior sister, I've got something else to do, gotta hang up now. After ending the call, Lu Chenju's face blushed slightly. For some reason, he felt somewhat embarrassed. Over the next 3 days, Lu Chenju and Chen Yuan, with a leisurely traveling mindset, checked in at various locations across Sanking Mountain, leaving their mark on every summit. When the mood struck them, they would even spar at the top of the mountains, with spear and sword crossing, drawing amazed gasps from passers-by. Of course, they took care not to harm a single blade of grass or piece of foliage at the historical site. Gradually, Lu Chenju began to understand why the high achievers chose to travel and comprehend the Tao in their practice, not only to understand the essence of Tao, but to quiet the mind and reflect during travel. After being in a cage for long, one can once again return to nature. Always shutting oneself away for bitter practice and constantly being confined by the objectives of martial arts, If all thoughts revolve around every aspect of martial arts, without giving the mind time to rest, how can one step out of this mountain to grasp a higher realm of understanding? Diligent study and practice is cultivation. Traveling around is also cultivation. See the world, see all beings, then see oneself. Teacher's words, Lu Chenju gained a profound understanding. This is just the start of the journey, and he has already gained so much. Next, he will see more landscapes, experience the vicissitudes of the world, just like the land immortals of old playing in the human world. Along the way, he'll vanquish demons and earn a bit of money. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Strolling along leisurely, the two arrived at their ultimate destination, the immortal master's hut. An ancient well had sat silently in this place for 1,000 years. Chen Yuan stood by the well and exclaimed, "This is the immortal well carved by the immortal master. It's said that the water here contains spiritual energy, making it most suited for alchemy. It's just a pity that in later ages, it was used so much that the spiritual energy was completely depleted." Lu Chenju drew a bucket of water and took a sip. Sweet with a refreshing aftertaste, truly unique. On the other side stood a mottled alchemy furnace, with 3 legs standing firm. Lu Chenju gently caressed the furnace walls, his eyes bright and clear. Chen Yuan's face showed a slight surprise. Could it be that there is also Dao Yun here? He was known as a Taoist, yet he hadn't felt anything special. He had heard that Lu Chenju had deep Buddhist connections and excelled in Buddhist training. However, he felt that Lu Chenju's connection to the Tao was not shallow either. His practice of Taoist martial arts would certainly not be lacking. Throughout history, top-level martial artists always had mastery in the 3 religions, scholarly of both heaven and man. Lu Chenju's mind was already immersed in a new world. He saw a well-nourished high-level Taoist with the appearance of a crane and a child, surrounded by 2 little Taoists, one providing materials and the other tending the fire, clearly practicing alchemy. Martial arts history recorded that Ji Xianwang was skilled in the art of the outer elixir. His cultivation reached the peak of the 4th realm, among the top land immortals of his era. Unfortunately, the path of the outer elixir was a dead end. The previous heavenly master Zhang had failed. Ji Xianwang also failed. Alvi Zhu succeeded in the end with the inner elixir skill. Dragon and Tiger Mountain, Sanking Mountain, and Lu Mountain. The historical Dao Yun of these 3 places laid out the journey of Taoist predecessors from breakthrough 4th to breakthrough 5th in martial arts, all presented before Lu Chenju. This was just Taoist method. Actually, later Buddhists or other folk wonders built upon the Taoist foundation, continuously creating new and adapting for their own use. Over time, through improvements by the Martial Arts Association, a complete and unified system was formed. During this period, Wan Shixian played a key role. After absorbing all the Dao Yun of the hermit's land, Lu Chenju looked towards his mind. The martial arts tree towered high, now reaching 33 feet. Tangwang Pavilion grows by 1 foot, the immortal cave by 9 feet, the hermit's land by 3 feet. It seems the most powerful Dao Yun comes from LV Zhu, and next, I can focus on visiting the places LV Zhu left his mark, Lu Chenju muttered to himself. His tiger form fist theory was now 1 step closer to the 5th realm. The veil of mist before his eyes lightened a bit. But it still wasn't enough. Wang Xian, a martial arts genius like him, was still in the 5th realm. This showed the difficulty of the last 3 realms of fist theory. Thus Lu Chenju was in no hurry. This was just Zhejiang province. The Xia was filled with beautiful landscapes and numerous historic sites. It wouldn't be long before he could clearly see the bright moon among the dissipating clouds. To fully comprehend the Dao Yun, Lu Chenju gazed at the sea of clouds in the distance, which flowed freely through heaven and earth. "Brother Chen, let's head back." "All right. I will escort you back to Dragon and Tiger Mountain." "Thank you." The sunset was blood-red and night fell. The parking lot of Sanking Mountain was getting less crowded. In a nearby forest, a figure dressed in night traveler's black garb with a meow blade at his waist approached under the cover of darkness. He held his breath with concentration, using a secret technique to mask his chi mechanism, blending into the surroundings like a panther moving through the night, his murderous intent hidden. Bai Jingming was a professional assassin. The secret techniques he practiced were all crafted for killing. He looked at the luxurious divine chariot and sneered to himself. I knew he'd come here. The long wait would finally bear fruit. Had he not been patient, he would have given up long ago. Today he must succeed. This was his only chance. Should he successfully hunt his target, his fame in the blood-hidden tower would soar. Successful assassinations of martial arts geniuses had been rare for many years, and this one was the chief among geniuses. The prestige was substantial. Of course, if he failed, he had already planned his escape routes. Assassinating geniuses was never a high-probability endeavor. At some location in Sioux City, Chen Yanjing stood respectfully in front of Gu Kaianqian and reported, "Protector, Bai Jingming has made his move." "Good. What do you think the chances of success are?" 50% maybe. "Didn't you previously say 70%? Lu Chenju has supernatural perception. He's likely cultivated a special secret technique. We still have a backup plan, right? I've called upon a hall master from the local divine child sect." "That's reassuring. With that we should be set." Chapter 404, 265 Reverse Attack Break 2, 2-in-1, 6K for monthly ticket and subscription. Sanking Mountain was shrouded in the night, eerily silent and desolate. Bai Jingming didn't know that, besides himself, there were others looking to assassinate Lu Chenju in the vicinity. Within the forest, two stealthy figures lay hidden. One was a fat old crone, broad and hefty, with an unsightly appearance. She had a dry tobacco pipe in her mouth, puffing out smoke and vapor. The crone was a hall master from the divine child sect that Chen Yanjing had hired for a hefty fee. Her strength was about equal to a middle realm martial arts master, even surpassing Bai Jingming. The divine child sect, being the local hegemon in the Western River region, knew the area well. The crone naturally agreed to the deal, knowing that even if the assassination attempt failed, she could escape with ease. The other was a gaunt old man, thin as kindling. He was the master of the seven-eyed venom toad, the crone's subordinate. In the past, Lu Chenju had inadvertently killed a demon entity he had nurtured. The crone spoke dispassionately. "Per our agreement, after this battle, the boy's divine spear shall belong to the Heart Happiness sect. All other spoils shall be mine. I will turn this lad into a protecting ghost child, using the corpse-chasing technique. A martial arts genius-quality ghost child will certainly have formidable combat strength." The gaunt old man cackled ominously. "This Lu Chenju is not easy prey. The assassins from Blood-Hidden Tower may find it hard to kill him quickly. We should take advantage of their struggle, kill Lu Chenju first, then eliminate that assassin." Backed by the Forbidden Zone, the Divine Child sect had no fear of the Blood-Hidden Tower. On the mountain path, Lu Chenju and Chen Yuan made their way down the steps. When they were still some distance away from the parking area farther down, Lu Chenju's brow furrowed slightly. In his mind, the tiger Tai sway stirred, and the ancient sword above his head slowly rotated. It finally pointed towards the direction of the parking area below. He patted Chen Yuan on the shoulder and spoke in a low voice. "Brother Chen, back to the mountain." Seeing Lu Chenju's grave expression, Chen Yuan asked, "What's wrong? Is there danger?" He too was a martial arts prodigy, often a target of assassination. Lu Chenju looked around but saw no one. In the forest, the hoot of an owl echoed. "I'm not sure, but I remember there's a third shackles breaker recluse living in a temple on the mountain. We should go back first. If there is danger, those thieves will probably not be a match for the recluses of the mountain. Otherwise, they would have made their move while we were touring the mountain." Chen Yuan nodded slightly, his body tensed. "Makes sense. Let's head back first and then call the police." Chen Yuan had heard that Zhang Lingmiao, the Taoist of dragon and tiger, practiced the cultivation method that could avoid evil and seek fortune. It seemed Lu Chenju also cultivated a similar method. The two retreated up the mountain without a sound. Knowing that danger might lurk below, they naturally had to make a strategic retreat. If the enemy dared to lay an ambush, they must possess strength surpassing theirs. At the foot of the mountain, Bai Jingming's expression faltered. "They're returning. Did they detect my presence? My cultivation includes a method to conceal my killing intent. Ordinary martial artists should not be able to detect me, even if they have cultivated the avoiding evil and seeking fortune technique. Could it be that Lu Chenju has already advanced to break second?" Conflicted, the professional assassin hesitated. A moment later, his expression turned fierce, and demon blood boiled within. "Impossible. There's no way he could have reached break second in such a short time. Fortune favors the bold. If it weren't for the Demon King Essence blood, I'd be stuck like this for life. Do it." With his wait-and-see approach failing, He chose to strike proactively. I must cut them down before they return up the mountain. With high-level practitioners on the mountain, he dared not act rashly. Whoosh! Bai Jingaming's break-second restrained body moved, and with a light leap of his legs he covered tens of feet, his arms spread like the wings of an owl, gliding through the forest. He drew closer to the two on the mountain path, drew his silenced pistol from his waist, and aimed at Chen Yuan by his side, firing 3 shots, bang, bang, bang. He did not aim at Lu Chenju. Against such a cross-trained expert, a handgun would be useless. Chen Yuan's hair stood on end as a bullet hit squarely in the middle of his back. But he was wearing an advanced protective suit, which easily blocked it. Before the two could react further, more bullets whizzed towards them. Lu Chenju crossed his arms to block, as faint golden light emanated through his clothes. Clang, clang, clatter, the handgun bullets fell to the ground. Such attacks were child's play to him, between the protective suit, the cold silkworm robe, cross-training, power, and physique. Even large-caliber sniper rounds could not penetrate his defense. "Brother Chen, I'll hold the enemy, you run." Chen Yuan was too weak. His presence would hinder Lu Chenju's performance. The enemy appeared to be targeting him. There was no need to implicate Chen Yuan. "Okay." As soon as Chen Yuan replied, a shadow flashed with phantom-like speed from the opposite direction of the gunfire, surrounded by a mist of blood, with strands of evil qi closing in. The gunfire was but a feint. Bai Jingaming had circled behind. With man and Miao blade as one, the blade flew like an arrow through a dozen lengths, arriving in a flash. The targeted Chen Yuan could only feel his body trembling instinctively. His initial realm strength was childlike in front of Bai Jingaming. Roar! A roar echoed, and Lu Chenju, with his tiger whisker sense, detected the enemy's rear approach. With a light pat, he sent Chen Yuan flying aside, and with an elbow strike like a hammer, he struck the assailant's weapon. Clang! The Miao blade tremored, its direction shifted, missing its mark. Without any delay, Chen Yuan rushed to call the police while rapidly scaling up the mountain. Break-second shackles. Clearly, the enemy was not after him. Otherwise, there would be no need for such a powerful break-second adversary. The target was unmistakably Lu Chenju. After the failed assassination attempt, the expression beneath Bai Jingaming's mask changed. He did not pursue Chen Yuan. Doing so would have left him exposed from behind, allowing the big fish Lu Chenju to escape. Such strong strength, the pinnacle of qi blood. His heart stirred wildly. This lad's strength was just a step away from break-second. If he had acted any later, there would have been no chance, maybe even a risk of being counterkilled. And now it was just right. As long as the opponent hadn't reached break-second, there was a chasm-like gap and thus a good chance. Chapter 405, 265 Reverse Attack Break 2, 2-in-1 6K for monthly ticket and subscription, /2. A tiger form claw tore through the air, and as it pressed onto Bai Jingaming's chest, a layer of blood-colored true qi emerged, condensing into armor. After a crisp ring, the true qi shield was covered with cracks but did not shatter. Using this impact, Bai Jingaming retreated, lifting his Miao blade as a blade light flashed at its tip, the blood-colored true qi covering the blade. Clang! The sound of metal clashing, a pitch-black divine spear adorned with a tiger in dragon's coils, emitted a demonic bloodlight. It lay across the path of the saber light like a dragon crossing a river, hitting the blade. A massive dark force with the power to hit a cow across the mountain surged along the blade into Lu Chenju's limbs. The cold silkworm robe fluttered like the tide, the divine weapon actually autonomously dissipating the force. The remaining power exploded on the golden armor like firecrackers shattering ice. The golden light vibrated, scattering apart like broken scales, followed by the innate strength outside the body dissipating into specks of glow. The final remnant force poured down like a breached dam onto the body. Thump, thump, thump. The heart thundered like drums, the qi blood fiercely burned, the surface innate strength slightly trembled, blocking the torturous force within the viscera and guts. Boom, boom. Lu Chenju took 2 steps back, his qi blood churning, his chest heavy. Is this the full force strike of an initial realm great master? He revealed a smile at the corner of his mouth, unable to help himself from laughing aloud. His high-spirited and wild momentum shot up to the sky. Behind him appeared a regal phantom figure that was faint yet visible, riding a tiger with 4 spears leaning on its back, and atop its shoulders stood a divine and peculiar swallow phantom. The martial king true body descended. The king beats the drums, the horn sounded. Martial king's heavenly drum, dark clouds over a city. Bai Jingming's expression was as still as an ancient well, but his mind shook tremendously. Is this combined spirit? Harmonizing different spirits to resonate and attack together is the combined spirit. Its power far surpasses ordinary spirits. At this moment, he began to doubt if he was a match for Lu Chenju, who emerged unscathed after taking his full force strike. This man's defense had reached an infuriating level, and he likely wore a divine weapon armor underneath. Blood Demon Palm. With a twist of his saber, Bai Jingming flicked away the spear and swiftly retreated. His blood slaughter momentum completely erupted, a demon blade phantom figure seeming to emerge behind him. He specialized in saber technique, already nearing the 5th realm. His spirit was named Night Owl Blade Demon. The Heavenly Demon Blood Slaughter Skill and Blood Demon Mad Saber both burn demon blood to slay the enemy in a short burst of fury. The surging blood-colored true chi poured into the Miao blade. The demon blade vibrated wildly, shooting out a saber light as long as a zhang in the form of a blood moon. Blood Demon Moon Vomiting. Under the night sky, the martial king spirit clashed with the blade demon spirit. Rumble, the intangible collision of spirits impacted reality, creating a whirlwind that bent the grass and plants, sent sand flying and pebbles rolling within a 10-jang radius. Lu Chenju, using the martial king true body, countered a strong break 2 spirit, and for a brief time he did not fall behind at all. Inside his inner realm, an intense battle erupted as well. Tiger Tai Sui, with swift and slow saber moves, competed in saber technique with the invading spirit of the demon blade, while the Bodhi Phantom with the spirit bracelet stepped on blossoming lotuses, besieging the demon. When strong adversaries clash, the quickest to take effect is the collision of invisible spirits. If the gap in spirit is too vast, then the battle holds no suspense, directly overpowering and breaking the opponent's spirit, dissolving them. Thus, Bai Jingming in his past hunts against martial artists, even at the end realm, would kill in an instant. From within, the spirit intimidates. On the outside, the demon blade slashes the throat. 2 moves, victory without suspense. But this time he failed. This junior's spirit was as firm as his, until he noticed, beneath the junior's sleeve, the right hand wearing a strand of black beads. A spiritual artifact. Damn, is this a pay-to-win player? Bai Jingming broke down. Divine spear, robe, spiritual artifact. Ordinary people wouldn't dare dream of one, let alone 3 on this man. In the blink of an eye, the inner conflict ended. The spiritual artifact bound the blood demon. Tiger Tai Sui's slow blade struck with the force of a collapsing sky, completely dissolving it. The enemy's spirit invasion failed. Lu Chenju pursued victoriously. Martial King Blood Dance, 10 steps, 1 kill. He stomped his right foot, took the initiative to press forward. The spear trembled. The gun lights scattered like stars, enveloping the void ahead and exploding in layers of white foam. In melee combat, an inch longer is an inch stronger. Bai Jingming retreated repeatedly, his Miao blade rolling up and down like a white snake in the waves, the dense blade shadows blocking every gun light. His face turned deep red, his eyes burning with anxiety. Damn it! By reason, having not prevailed over the enemy for several exchanges, he should decisively retreat, but under the influence of his demon blood and the thrill of seeking wealth amidst danger, he became even more ferocious. Damn it, I refuse to believe I can't kill a mere breakthrough first. Since ancient times, the difference between major realms is like a vast chasm, an iron law. Even with the support of divine weapons, it can only reduce, not equalize the gap. His chi blood and physical quality were absolutely far superior to Lu Chenju's. Blood Demon Erosion Sun. The Heavenly Demon Blood Slaughter skill, running to its extreme, Bai Jingming's heart's surface grew traces of black fur, the demon blood entered the brain, the violent and bloodthirsty aura invaded the Mud Pill Palace. Lu Chenju, with his tiger swallow dual forms movement technique, danced through the saber light. Although he could withstand the attacks of Break 2, he could not last long. He dodged when possible without being careless. Bai Jingming swung his saber wildly, the blade light hitting the ground, blasting trenches yards long. His arms and forehead also began to sprout black fur as he swelled visibly into a tall and thin monster hunched over. Haha, forcing me to use the heavenly demon true body, you've got guts. The creature laughed wickedly, stepping 3 zhang in one stride, burning blood flame saber light crashing down from the sky. Both its speed and power increased several fold compared to before. Chapter 406, 265 reverse attack break 2. 2-in-1 6K for monthly ticket and subscription, /3. Boom! Lu Chenju blocked with his gun horizontally, and the force transmitted instantly shattered his tiger's mouth, causing blood to spurt violently and fine cracks to spread across his arm bones, the pain piercing his heart. This was still the attack after multiple layers of force had been unloaded by cross-training and the vestment robe. Without these, if it were an ordinary martial artist at the end realm, their bones would have exploded and their flesh scattered. This was the heavenly chasm. The residual force rampaged within Lu Chenju's body, his organs tumbled, and even with the protection of flawless power, he inevitably suffered internal injuries. Bang! 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 The bizarre figure somersaulted, fighting with both hands, a triplet of whirlwind slashes. Lu Chenju was sent flying backward, crashing into 5 pine trees. He wanted to dodge, but the speed of the bizarre figure after burst seed was too fast, and his reaction speed couldn't keep up. Swoosh! The bizarre figure dived at him, his gun rolling on the ground. The blade light descended. The earth instantly formed a 3-jang-long ravine, filled with chi blood. The bizarre figure smashed the blade to the ground while laughing hysterically. How can a weak mortal body compare to the body of a heavenly demon? In the state of a heavenly demon, he was like a demon god descended, an invincible body. Even the initial realm grandmasters would find it hard to withstand his sharpness. While dodging, Lu Chenju noticed that, although the enemy's physical capabilities were enhanced in all aspects after demonization, their martial arts techniques had degraded due to their loss of sanity. After every slash, the movement technique would reveal a brief flaw. Boom! Another slashing strike came horizontally. Lu Chenju leaped from the ground, bringing up a gust of wind as he soared. The bizarre figure slashed upwards, a blood-light soared to the sky, shaving off a section of the treetops. Wind step. Lu Chenju moved through the air, dodging away from the blood-light. He held his gun with both hands, stepping through the void to appear behind the bizarre figure. Roar! Tiger power again shook out, its imposing aura enveloping the surroundings. At the same time, he concentrated his essence, chi and spirit, burning his chi blood and momentum. Mountain river suppressing. The aura pressed horizontally, stirring up sand and pebbles. The bizarre figure's slender, tall form froze for a moment, then swiftly turned around, slashing his long sword towards his back, the blade light plowing the earth, unstoppable like bamboo splitting. A figure wrapped in the might of wind and thunder transformed into a flash of golden light and disappeared, accompanied by a sound, the long gun piercing through the bizarre figure's thick black hair and golden iron body. Martial King breaking 1,000 armies, earth, wind, and thunder. Sparks and electric currents splattered, the wind swirling around. At this moment, Lu Chenju's orifices and pores bled, but instead it triggered the bloodletting effect, slightly increasing his momentum, far surpassing the ordinary martial artists of the end realm. Break. Crack. The long gun forcefully pierced through the bizarre figure's chest, protruding his heart. Thump thump, the heart surfaced, the black hair trembling. The bizarre figure's eyes turned violently wild, not dead but flaring up fiercely in a last-ditch effort, savagely chopping at Lu Chenju with the blade. Lu Chenju didn't dare to meet the blow head-on and had to withdraw his gun to dodge. Dog ghost. From inside the tiger gall gun, a blood-colored figure emerged. Once the dog ghost appeared, it opened its mouth and sent up a mushroom cloud-like green flame towards the sky. If it were Bai Jingming in his prime, he naturally wouldn't fear it, but now he was at the end of his strength and instantly caught fire. Lu Chenju drew his fist blades and went behind the bizarre figure, his fists like cannons firing, forcefully shattering the bizarre figure's blood-colored true chi shield, pulling out an intestine tract. The bizarre figure turned, the blade light fiercely shaking. The dog ghost was cut in two, exploding violently. The windmill-like blade light struck Lu Chenju's body, a tremendous force transmitted. Lu Chenju activated the Ming King body, golden bell standing, jade drum resonating, protected by the immovable Vajra. He actually chose to meet the blade light head-on, a terrifying slash ensuing, the high-level protective suit cracking, cold silkworm robe stretched tight, his golden body as rich as a gold sculpture, cracking inch by inch. Boom, the immense force made his chest oppressive, ribs cracking. Lu Chenju spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. But this time, he did not fly backward. Just as he readied to deliver a fatal blow to the bizarre figure, an unexpected change occurred. The battle with the bizarre figure hadn't ended when a ghost claw, shining with a cold light, tore through the air from some dark place, catching Lu Chenju at his weakest moment defensively, and directly struck at his back's heart spot, tearing the high-level protective suit like leather. Facing this lethal attack, a violent tide-like coldness suddenly emerged from the silks of the vestment robe, instantly condensing a layer of thin-as-cicada-wing cold ice armor, freezing the ghost claw solid within it, a gentle shake turning the claw into icy fragments. Lu Chenju didn't have time to think where the second enemy came from. He was just relieved he hadn't used the cold ice armor earlier, otherwise that attack would have pierced his heart. The enemy had timed it just before the golden film had regenerated. Rumble! 100-jang-high blaze burst into the sky from the forest behind him, illuminating the night. A brief, shrill bird call tore through the clouds. A towering red sword fell from the sky and regained calm upon touching the ground. A wave of high-temperature heat blasts surged, sweeping the vicinity. The heat came quickly and left just as fast. The bizarre figure looked towards the distant scene, its body trembling with fear uncontrollably. Lu Chenju gripped the tip of his gun with one hand, the body of the gun with the other. His arms, muscles bulged like coiled green pythons, explosive power pouring out like a torrent. The bizarre figure, like a spit-roasted lamb rotisseried by his immense strength, tossed backward in a crash. Die! Crack! The bizarre figure's neck bone broke, its head hanging by a thread, the last breath of demon energy keeping it alive, clutching at Lu Chenju's waist, its wide mouth biting towards Lu Chenju's head. Saliva flowing, the stench unbearable. The bizarre figure was no longer Bai Jingming. It was a demon, a monster. Golden light fists thundered upwards, sending the head flying, scalding sticky blood sprayed all over him, Lu Chenju no longer able to distinguish which was demon blood and which was his own. He panted heavily, feeling the life force of the bizarre figure completely dissipate, tiger gall gun hungrier than ever, emitting a sinister bloodlight, embedded in the bizarre figure's chest absorbing blood. Chapter 407, 265 Reverse Attack Break 2, 2-in-1, 6K seeking monthly tickets and subscriptions, /4. Gulp, gulp, it had been a long time since it had feasted on demon blood. Lu Chenju was physically and mentally exhausted. He took a rejuvenation pill and paired it with innate blood lotus treasure chi. His internal and external injuries were healing at a visibly fast rate. He had killed a break-second shackles. The battle had lasted only minutes. He didn't have time to cheer or feel relieved. There's another enemy. He drew his long spear and, like hunting a fierce tiger, used the cover of night and trees to track down the source of a foul, burning smell and found 2 human-shaped ash marks. Dead. These 2 human-shaped ash marks were likely the ones who had ambushed him. Suddenly, Lu Chenju seemed to think of something. He reached for the jade token on his chest. It's on. He took out the glowing red jade token. Master. This was not a simple amulet. This jade token was a certain method bestowed upon him by his master. Considering the faint bird cries he had just heard. Vermilion bird sky burning sword. He held the heavy jade token, his heart trembling. Had his master actually given him a grandmaster divine weapon for self-defense? Despite saying otherwise, it was all a facade created by his master. His master didn't want Lu Chenju to rely too much on the sex power. Experiences had to be resolved by oneself within one's capabilities. But this time, being ambushed and targeted by 2 break-second shackles opponents simultaneously had clearly exceeded his capabilities. His strength, even with all his methods deployed, was merely on par with an initial realm martial arts master. The 2 people killed by the vermilion bird sky burning sword were likely cultists, more sinister and difficult to handle than martial artists. If he truly faced them, it would be a narrow escape from death. The situation was still unclear. Lu Chenju rummaged through the ashes and found a small sachet similar to a swallowing elephant belt, made from boss snake skin and functioning as a storage bag. He inspected it, then tied it around his waist. Among the ashes, there was also a dry pipe, probably an evil artifact. He kept it temporarily. Such an item could be turned over to the authorities for a substantial bounty. Aside from that, there was nothing else. He returned to the side of the bizarre corpse in the blood robe. He removed the mask. The dead man's face was unfamiliar. This person must have been a professional assassin. Who the real mastermind was, Lu Chenju did not know. Nor was there any need to guess. Martial artists and the three evils, an endless battle to the death. Every sect that relies on an evil god is his enemy. The assassin's spoils of war included nothing but an alloy miao blade, covered with notches. If not for the protection of innate true qi, it would have been cut in two by the divine weapon. This man also suffered from not having a divine weapon. Lu Chenju murmured inwardly. If both had used divine weapons, fought fairly, his chances of winning would have been even lower. As he was about to leave, he noticed a small bottle had rolled to the side. "What's this?" He picked it up quickly and left. Not long after, an old Taoist with white hair and beard floated down from the mountain and landed in front of Lu Chenju. He was Yuan Qi, the guardian of Sanking Mountain, a martial arts master whose cultivation was said to have spanned 60 years. During his time of enlightenment on Sanking Mountain, Lu Chenju and Chen Yuan often interacted with this old Taoist and thought highly of him. Holding a horsetail whisk void blade, Yuan Qi inquired, "Lu, where is the assassin?" Lu Chenju exhaled and calmly replied, "I killed him." Behind Yuan Qi, Chen Yuan, with a look of astonishment, said, "Was that person a break second shackles?" "Yes." "So did you perform a reverse attack break two shackles, or have you broken through yourself?" "I barely prevailed with the power of the divine weapon." Yuan Qi stroked his beard, suppressing the shock in his heart. "Take me to the scene. The police are also on their way." A break second shackles vanished just like that. Even with a divine weapon, the old Taoist found it hard to believe. The young people nowadays, so fierce. 2 chapters merged into 6,000 words, 10,000 words updated today, and tomorrow will resume the normal schedule with 3 updates. Chapter 408, 266 Washing and Peeling, Changing the Root Bone 4K. In the forest clearing. SSS. Chen Yuan took a sharp breath as he looked at the withered, scorched corpse on the ground. The body, only recently deceased, still radiated residual might that sent shivers down his spine and instinctively put him on guard. Against this person, he probably wouldn't last 3 rounds. No, he might even be killed instantaneously. The Taoist Dan Dingzi swept away the ashes with his horsetail whisk. He sniffed the pungent, bloody stench that rose and said solemnly, "This is the heavenly demon blood evil Qi. The assassin is from Blood Hidden Tower." Chen Yuan's eyebrows furrowed deeply. Blood Hidden Tower, the world's #1 assassination organization. Lu Chenju had heard of it. This was a force no less formidable than the Black Knight organization. While the Black Knights were committed to causing destruction and trying to subvert the orthodoxy, Blood Hidden Tower was not interested in such matters. Their principle was to conduct business for money, taking on hunting commissions from the underworld to earn their own cultivation resources. In comparison, they were more neutral. If the price was right, they could even engage Grandmaster-level assassins. Dan Dingzi said, "Normally, neither the Black Knight organization nor the cults often resort to assassinating martial artists. They are weak, and it's not cost-effective to target martial artists. Thus, they usually strike at entry-level martial artists who have yet to grow in strength. Lu's capabilities are well known. Even if someone capable of breaking second shackles personally attacked, they might not succeed, much less have to go through such trouble to assassinate him." At this point, Dan Dingzi scrutinized Lu Chenju. "Perhaps there is something on you that they must have." Lu Chenju thought it over. The most valuable thing he possessed was undoubtedly the Tiger Gall gun. It was a Grandmaster-level divine weapon, and one that could evolve at that. As for the cold silkworm robe, he wore this divine weapon underneath his protective clothing and had never shown it to anyone. Apart from the military department and his sect, no one knew he had this treasure. Thus, the motives of the masterminds behind the scenes could only be one of 2 possibilities: to kill a promising genius, to seize the Tiger Gall gun. Lu Chenju was no stranger to assassination attempts, and his mindset remained quite calm. Some time later, the police also arrived. Hearing that Dragon City's chief had been stabbed at Sanking Mountain, Sub-Bureau Chief Murong Hai hurried over with his team personally. Murong Hai was also a martial arts master. Dan Dingzi chuckled and said, "Officer Murong has arrived too late. The assailant has already been taken care of by Lu." Murong Hai first greeted Dan Dingzi, then turned his gaze toward Lu Chenju. the body of a martial artist who had broken second shackles in reverse. Even with the support of a god weapon, this was exceedingly rare. Such an event had not been heard of in a long time. After conducting a brief investigation, Murong Hai left with the body. Before departing, Lu Chenju handed over the evil artifact pipe he had seized. He dared not keep it, fearing it might lead the cult back to him. Murong Hai told him that this evil artifact was a treasure of the Hall Master level, exchangeable for a reward of millions. Lu Chenju was in good spirits, having made a tidy profit. Under Dan Dingxi's watchful eye, the divine chariot soared into the sky. The old Taoist floated back to the mountains, unable to help sighing. Breaking first to reverse break second, that's big news. He had lived for 2 Jiazi, 60-year cycles, and had only heard of a handful of such cases. Of course, all were aided by god weapons. Even so, those who performed such a reverse breakthrough all became renowned figures in the future, starting at least at the level of martial arts king. That night, Lu Chenju brought Chen Yuan to Dragon and Tiger Mountain. "Brother Lu, the night is unsafe. Why not stay at Dragon and Tiger Mountain for the night?" "Sure, thank you, Brother Chen." After ascending the mountain, Chen Yuan led Lu Chenju to his home. Compared to the modernized Dragon City school dorms, this place was a series of antique, quaint lofts and pavilions. Chen Yuan's residence was a small farmhouse courtyard. From outside the courtyard, one could overlook the beautiful scenery below and watch the clouds roll by. Lu Chenju took a deep breath of the mountain's spiritual qi and couldn't help but remark, "What a tranquil and elegant place." This was the ideal setting for cultivation. Chen Yuan said, "If Brother Lu doesn't mind, you could stay here for a while." Lu Chenju was not shy to take up the offer. "Then it's settled, I'll lay low from the storm." He wasn't sure if there were still more powerful assassins lurking in the shadows. For the short term, he could not leave the mountain. He would let the police investigate for a bit and wait for the results. It would be good to spend some time in quiet cultivation at the Taoist sect and experience what it's like to be a Taoist. Blessed by heaven. Compared to being a great monk, Lu Chenju preferred the life of a Taoist priest. It seemed fate had led him down a path of no return. Recently, he had comprehended the Taoyuan left by several senior Taoists. He wanted to digest this to get his cultivation back on track. Perhaps he could even use this opportunity to step into the 5th realm of boxing. Since this was a carefree travel, he should maintain a leisurely mindset. Go with the flow, let nature take its course, and wander through the great landscapes. Not like a special forces soldier ticking off mission objectives. Chen Yuan tidied the house and said, "Brother Lu, you take the main house, I'll sleep in the side room." "How can I accept this?" "The side room is too cluttered." "I don't mind. You're the guest, please listen to me." Ultimately, Lu Chenju settled down in the main bedroom. That night he pulled out the small sachet, but before he even had the chance to open it, the sachet burst open, and miscellaneous items clattered to the ground. "My storage bag is broken." Lu Chenju caressed the increasingly cold jade token at his chest. The vermilion bird sky burning sword was too fierce. He suspected there might have been other spoils of battle, but they were all likely destroyed by a single sword strike. Lu Chenju looked down at the pile of assorted items on the ground. What caught his eye were mostly odd and curious things. A shriveled, bizarre lizard corpse, dried pufferfish, pitch-black herbs, a small fragment of a human skull, an old lady's embroidered shoes. What garbage! Lu Chenju couldn't help but curse inwardly. These cultists were truly destitute. Among the rubbish, he picked out an ancient scroll. Chapter 409, 266 Washing and Peeling, Changing the Root Bone 4K/2. On the cover there was a large-headed little figure, 3 feet tall. No matter from which direction he looked, the little figure's face seemed to be staring at him. Divine Child Scripture, another evil skill. Lu Chenju's palm emitted a high-temperature qi flow, igniting it. Moments later, the ancient book turned to flying ash. In an instant, that sense of being watched also disappeared. Evil and weird. Lu Chenju continued to search, and finally found something good. It was a pile of glittering gold bars. "This is valuable." Lu Chenju weighed it for a while. It should be worth several tens of millions. Gold bars confiscated from martial artists can be exchanged for cash at the police. There were also some martial arts secret books, all common goods not worth mentioning, probably collected by cult demons after hunting martial artists. With the abundance of martial arts books in Dragon City's myriad-volume pavilion, none of these interested him. There were also some pots and jars, all pills concocted by evil skills, which Lu Chenju did not understand and did not dare to keep, planning to hand them over to the police as well, for some cash in exchange. At last his gaze settled on a jade box. The jade box was exquisitely carved with a dragon and a phoenix. Inside there must also be something precious. His body shone with golden light as he gently opened it. A rich medicinal scent flooded out, refreshing to the core. He inadvertently took a whiff and felt his chi blood flowing smoothly, his body groaning, and his pores absorbing and expelling like clouds and mist. Inside the medicine box was a vermilion red fruit. Just by looking at its shape, it was not much different from the Holy Daughter fruit. But its color was transparent like agate, and the semi-translucent flesh had a network of fine veins, much like blood vessels, and the jujube core-sized heart was its heart. The longer he looked, the more the lines on the fruit's surface vaguely resembled human features. Lu Chenju's mind was greatly shaken. He couldn't help but exclaim, "Vermilion fruit." He immediately took out the heavenly treasure book and compared carefully. Then his excitement gradually cooled down. "Too excited, I saw it wrong. It's a ginseng jujube. The vermilion fruit takes 500 years to develop medicinal properties. At this stage, it is a yellow-grade earth treasure, with the effect of significantly increasing one's chi blood. Overall, its value is not high. After 1,000 years, it becomes a Xuan-grade earth treasure. The value of the vermilion fruit increases greatly, enhancing chi blood and greatly aiding in washing and peeling. It is said to elevate someone with low-class innate talent to intermediate, a truly life-changing treasure. In the old world, blood and storms were stirred up just for 1,000-year vermilion fruit. Even grandmasters would be disturbed. The fruit might not be useful for them, but if they have loved ones or juniors to cultivate, this treasure was most suitable. After 3,000 years, it becomes an earth-grade great medicine. Great medicine, the great medicine of heaven. Such treasures are ones that ask heaven for great medicine. It is said that if one can survive the painful process of washing and peeling, transforming and rebirthing the body, then even someone with low-class innate talent could leap to become a genius with top-class innate talent. The 3,000-year vermilion fruit has appeared 3 times in history. Each time it caused a decade of unrest in the world. A vermilion fruit cultivated for 10,000 years becomes a heavenly grade treasure. In history, it has only appeared once. Washing and peeling, changing tendons and bones, generating blood and rebirth, it allows ordinary people to have martial arts genius-like aptitude, and if a top-class innate talented person or a genius consumes it, there is a chance to awaken the martial bone Dao embryo, giving birth to the most perfect martial arts innate talent in this world. Innate treasure bone. This is the ultimate in innate talents. It is rumored in the martial arts world that the 10,000-year vermilion fruit was consumed by the Amei ancestor, the washing elephant divine nun. The process of refining it was extremely dangerous, causing strange phenomena and even heavenly calamities to descend. The washing elephant divine nun, already gifted, stepped into the absolute peak realm aided by the fruit. The vermilion fruit is a treasure nourished by heaven and earth. Normally, if found, one wouldn't wait for it to mature for 10,000 years before using it, would they? In the old days, ordinary vermilion fruits were relatively common, but now they have long since become extinct, with only a possible existence in the void realm. But finding it is like searching for a needle in the ocean. The ginseng jujube in Lu Chenju's hand is a yellow-grade treasure. This treasure has another name, lesser millennium vermilion fruit. Its effect is only one: washing and peeling, a slight improvement in one's innate talent. But the effect is far inferior to the 1,000-year vermilion fruit. Otherwise, it wouldn't be considered a yellow-grade treasure. Therefore, Lu Chenju was not particularly excited. With his current comprehension, this slight improvement in innate talent was just icing on the cake. If he had received it earlier, it would have been a timely help in the snow. Ginseng dates themselves have no side effects and can be taken directly. The only risk is that altering the root bone feels like breaking shackles, which will be very painful. But Lu Chenju had already taken blood lotus treasure medicine before, so he was experienced. The fruit melted in his mouth, turning into a stream of pure pale red chi blood that flowed down his throat into his tailbone, and then seeped into his blood vessels, spreading throughout his limbs and bones. In an instant, it felt as if billions of ants were gnawing at his bones, tearing at his muscles, penetrating deep into his marrow, and spreading throughout his 8 meridians. Strange noises continued to emerge from within his body. The effect of the medicine did not subside until midnight. Lu Chenju opened his eyes, his body covered with a layer of dark red murky blood armor, faintly filled with dense bone dust and viscous bad marrow seeping out. With a light shake, the blood armor turned to powder and dissipated. He felt an indescribable sense of relief, like a person who has suffered from rhinitis for 30 years, suddenly able to breathe freely, or someone who has been short-sighted for decades and now can see the world clearly without glasses. In a word, refreshing. At this moment, he began to understand why the gap between the 3 main root bones was so large. He had only improved slightly, yet felt such clarity. For those born with top-class root bones, wouldn't they be thrilled to the heavens? They were not even starting on the same level. It was as though they were born in 2 different worlds. Finally, Lu Chenju opened the small bottle he had obtained from an assassin. Overwhelming demon energy swept through, with a violent will trying to invade his mind. He immediately closed the bottle lid and, with a powerful martial arts will, subdued the remaining will. 1 drop of blood to have such power. This is Demon King Essence blood. This could be used to feed the divine spear, but there was no rush. Demon King Essence blood was extremely precious and might have other uses. This night, the police in Dragon City were not at peace. The news spread that Lu Chenju, Dragon City's chief, used his martial artist body at Sanking Mountain to reverse attack and break 2 shackles of a blood-hidden tower assassin. It was a pity that there were no surveillance cameras on the mountain trails of Sanking Mountain. People couldn't witness the full process of this miraculous battle and could only guess based on the scene. What could be certain was that the key to this battle lay in the divine weapon controlled by Lu Chenju. According to past cases, that divine spear must be an intermediate divine weapon. Another was his unbeatable body, cultivated both internally and externally. In addition to other trump cards of a genius, it also made sense. But all this was just theoretical reasoning. Paper strategy is easy, but the actual combat advantage of breaking 2 shackles is still too significant. Cross-realm fighting sounds difficult, but in reality, it's far from simple. Dragon City's chief may well become famous throughout the world this time. Sioux City Dragon Marshal. Damn, Chenju actually reverse attacked and broke 2 masters. Old Jai, who was practicing his stance late at night, was stunned when he heard the news from King Shin Kang. Old Jai had lived for so long, but had never witnessed such an event. Thrilled, he also worried. It feels like Chenju's journey ahead won't be smooth. King Shin Kang said indifferently. Don't borrow trouble. Would Principal Wang not have any contingencies? Thinking about it, Old Jai agreed. Opening the acupoint. The night was deep, and Wang Changming was wiping his divine weapon. Wang Xian hurried over, looking somewhat excited. Master, my junior brother was ambushed. How did it end? The junior brother successfully counterkilled and left safely. Which power do the assassins belong to? Blood-hidden tower. The exact masterminds behind the scenes are unclear. I see, as long as he's safe. The junior brother is truly awesome. Standard operation, with him possessing 2 great divine weapons and being cultivated both internally and externally with tiger swallow dual forms, it's perfectly normal to counterkill if the opponent is just a first-rank expert. When the 4 Symbols Master was young, he reversed an attack against a cult hall master with only a lower-grade divine weapon. Hearing such anecdotes from his master, Wang Xian exclaimed, Absolute peak strong are indeed strong. He asked, Master, my junior brother will still roam for a while. With his conspicuous talent, those despicable foes lurking in the shadows might intensify their efforts to ambush him along the way. Possibly. Do you need me to secretly protect him? No need, the vermilion bird sword is sufficient. On the martial arts path, many are the trials and tribulations. Is this not just the beginning? Chapter 410, 267 famous around the world, alone on Wuding 4K. Silver Eagle Federation. In the castle deep within the mountains, the Blood Duke was anxiously awaiting the outcome. According to Gu Kaienqian, Lu Chenju was supposed to disappear from the human world tonight. Clan of the Heavenly Tiger. The Duke tapped his fingers on the throne, his gaze icy. He had learned from a restricted area that recently, several humans had entered the dominion of another restricted entity, and had slain a projection of an evil god using a mysterious spear, reviving the lingering will within the heavenly tiger's bone remains. Clearly, that human was Lu Chenju. He was trying to revive the clan of the heavenly tiger in another way. Lu Chenju had to die. The Duke spread out his palm, and Gu Kaienqian's face appeared. The protector seemed to look somewhat unwell. How did it go? Failed. You said it was sure to succeed, didn't you? Misjudgment on the Demon King's part. I never said such a thing. Why did it fail? That Lu Chenju counterkilled the silver-ranked assassin. He must have more than one divine weapon. I suspect that before he left, his sect bestowed upon him many treasures. Darn it, didn't you have a backup plan? Even the backups were annihilated. What's the next plan for assassination? Do we continue? Just give up. The next morning, Lu Chenju got up early to practice the heavenly pile. He found Chen Yuan was up even earlier, also practicing. In his memory, Chen Yuan had been a typical harsh practitioner of heavenly pile since high school. Not only did he have high comprehension, but got into Dragon and Tiger Academy's genius class with intermediate root bone. Chen Yuan was also very hardworking. Chen Yuan looked at Lu Chenju, feeling a transformation in his temperament and spirit. He asked with a slight confusion, "Brother Lu, did you make a breakthrough?" "A small gain." "Congratulations. May I ask indiscreetly how many acupoints you've opened?" "Day and night practice, just reached 123. Chen Yuan was inwardly amazed. "That's more than twice mine." He initially worried that Lu Chenju was being reckless, pushing chi blood too fast with the help of great medicine and treasures in a way that his acupoints couldn't keep up, but evidently, he was overthinking. The two stood atop the sea of clouds, practicing cultivation. After breakfast, Chen Yuan went to morning classes. "Brother Lu, would you like to join me for the classes?" "I don't think it's right, I'm from a different school." "I've already reported it, the school allows it, just consider it a cultural exchange." "All right, thanks." This increased Lu Chenju's favorable impression of the Dragon and Tiger Academy. Taoist Magnificent. During the morning class, a group of young martial artists was following a grandmaster in practicing punches. Punching is a fundamental skill in Taoism. No matter what cold weapon you use, hand-to-hand combat skills are essential. Lu Chenju mingled among them, watching the grandmaster punch. After receiving teachings from LV Zhu, he always felt his understanding and comprehension of the Taoist martial arts had improved. After the class, a group gathered around. Their eyes on Lu Chenju carried more respect. The Aoyang brothers took the initiative to greet him, smiling. "Long time no see, Brother Lu. How do you find our Taoist practices?" "Quite good. Why not join the Dragon and Tiger Academy and enhance our Taoist ranks?" "Thanks for your goodwill, but I'll have to decline." Through Chen Yuan's introductions, Lu Chenju quickly became familiar with this group of young martial artists, and they all knew his purpose was to seek victories and explore historical sites, wandering the world. Of course, what they were more eager to gossip about was last night's event. Yang Rong couldn't help but ask, "Brother Lu, did you really counterstrike a rank 2 powerhouse?" "Really, is that true?" "Brother Lu, is that divine weapon on your back?" Everyone was naturally curious. Such a thing was too rare. Lu Chenju honestly replied, "Relying on the power of the divine weapon, I managed a lucky counterkill." Everyone gave him thumbs up and said, "That's still very strong." In their hearts, Lu Chenju was already on par with a Taoist child of the Dragon and Tiger. In chatting, Lu Chenju learned that the Taoist child of the Dragon and Tiger had been promoted to a martial arts master last year, and was currently cultivating in the Void Realm within the 100,000 mountains. This bearer of the Dragon and Tiger Taoist body was indeed formidable. That night, Lu Chenju was practicing inner strength, the tiger gall spear resting on his crossed legs, resonating with his heart intent, harmonizing with the divine spear. Suddenly, the body of the spear trembled slightly as if something had awakened. "Come out," Lu Chenju said calmly. The ethereal figure of the dog ghost emerged, hanging its head, its aura much weaker than before. It had been nearly obliterated by Jingaming with a single strike, and had almost met its demise. Luckily, As a spiritual body, it had detonated itself to evade the fatal blow and slipped back into the divine spear to sleep. Today, it had finally awakened. The dog ghost eagerly looked towards the storage bag on Lu Chenju's waist. It could sense there were good things inside. Lu Chenju took out the Demon King essence blood, and the dog ghost immediately drooled. The tiger gall spear also buzzed and trembled, very eager. After a moment's thought, he said, "Fine, I'll indulge you." He dripped the essence blood onto the spear, and a pure and massive terrifying demonic power surged into the tiger gall spear. In the internal world of the spear, a blood rain began, turning into rivers and filling the blood pool. The space of the blood pool was too vast now. Even after the rain stopped, the blood pool had only gathered less than 1/20th. Lu Chenju lamented. This is the essence blood of a demon king, equivalent to hundreds, perhaps thousands, of ordinary great demons. To elevate the tiger gall to a top-class divine weapon, the needed demon blood will be immense. Demon blood was just one of the conditions for advancement. The spear also needed to be recast with star-tier meteor iron, to enable it to hold more demonic energy for the divine weapon to advance further, a daunting and long journey. However, an intermediate divine weapon was sufficient for him until the Grandmaster realm. Inside the inner scenery land, a fierce and malevolent silhouette of a demon king emerged. The residual will within the essence blood attempted to invade but was slashed away by the tiger Tai Sui, a mere deceased being, unworthy of concern. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. Lu Chenju opened one more acupoint. Chapter 411, 267 famous across the world, ascending Wuding alone, 4K/2. He was acutely aware, perhaps due to the effects of the washing and peeling, that his heavenly pile, inner strength, and the cultivation of his cross-training martial arts had improved slightly. It seemed that the enhancement of root bone promoted one's talents in all aspects, but relatively speaking, heavenly pile placed more importance on hard work, while hard Qigong placed more emphasis on cross-training talent. After completion, the Pure Yang Unlimited Shield, a middle-level cross-training cultivation method, became significantly harder, and the progress was slower than before, but still acceptable. This made Lu Chenju increasingly believe that the enlightenment he experienced at Lu Mountain had subtly improved his comprehension of Taoist martial arts. Seeking victory through the exploration of antiquities benefited him in many ways. During this time, the haze that once shrouded the fourth realm of his fifth theory was now thinner, and daily observation of the grandmasters of Taoist martial arts had yielded significant insights. To be honest, he very much appreciated the tranquil environment for Taoist cultivation. However, he knew it was time to hit the road once again. Firstly, he was an outsider, and it was not convenient to stay for too long. Secondly, he wished to comprehend more Dao Yun and understand the fifth realm sooner. As he was preparing to leave, Chen Yuan came to see him off. Lu Chenju bowed with his hands clasped in gratitude. "This period of disturbance is much appreciated, Mr. Chen. When will you return to Sioux City?" Chen Yuan, his gaze firm, pondered for a moment before replying. "I will return home on the day I become a grandmaster." Lu Chenju patted Chen Yuan on the shoulder and turned around, saying, "I look forward to seeing you in Sioux City after you become a grandmaster." His figure then vanished into the morning mist. Soon after, Zhang Lingmiao returned to the mountain to recuperate and heard about Lu Chenju's reverse attack break 2. His eyes shimmering with purple qi, he muttered to himself, "Dragon City's branch has nurtured a real dragon indeed." In a certain police station in the West River, Lu Chenju listened to the findings of the police investigation. The deceased was named Bai Jingaming without any title, but in the underworld he was known as Blood Vulture, practicing the heavenly demon blood slaughter skill, and habitually using demon blood to concoct great medicine for cultivation, which led to abnormalities in his body and caused a degree of demonic transformation. The other two deceased turned to ash and their identities remain unknown, but it is certain that both were high-ranking members of the Divine Child sect, one even a hall master. "Mr. Lu, you must be cautious in your next actions, as you are now a primary target for the three harms. They may even deploy a third shackles breaker to deal with you." After listening, Lu Chenju scoffed internally. "To kill me, they sacrifice 2 second shackles breakers. They really spare no expense." No other martial arts genius had received such attention. When he left the police station, His bank account had an additional 30 million cash. Million for Bai Jingaming, and 20 million for members of the Divine Child sect. The police investigation noted that the cult hall master was not killed by Lu Chenju personally, but by a treasure bestowed by his sect. Nevertheless, the due bounty was still awarded. Eliminating the menace for the citizens was all that mattered. Lu Chenju's savings soared to over 80 million. In addition, he still had some gold bars that he had yet to exchange. Before setting off on his journey, he purchased a large supply of enlightenment elixirs for the next half-year. Having spent all his great merit, this cash windfall was truly like sending charcoal in snowy weather. The divine chariot rose into the sky, flying towards the next destination. Wudang Mountain, formerly known as Te Mountain and Teiyu Mountain. The mountain is not notable for its height, but for its association with immortals. As the birthplace of the Zhenwu Taoist school and the spot where Tai Kai's founder Zhang Zhu attained enlightenment, Wudang Mountain rivals dragon and tiger among the sacred places of Taoist Dazia. The number of strong individuals born from its martial arts academy is unmatched throughout the world. The first absolute peak grandmaster, Wan Shixian, was a disciple of Wudang. As for the founder of Zhenwu Palace, Xuanwu Taoist, there's no need to even mention. With 14 absolute peak grandmasters owning 2 of them, its distinction is evident. Thus, the second stop for Lu Chenju was Wudang. The divine chariot halted at the foot of the mountain. It was safe to say that the security here was a given. Blood-hidden tower wouldn't dare to assassinate anyone among these crowds, not even with 100-fold the audacity. The gatekeeper of the mountain was an old grandmaster. Lu Chenju marveled, admiring the sanctity of this Taoist holy land. He said with a bow, "I, Lu Chenju from Dragon City, have come to seek the triumphs and visit the ancient heritage of the sacred Wudang land." According to Dazia's laws, historical landmarks used as Taoist sites by top martial universities are public heritage shared by all citizens of Dazia. Not only martial artists, but even average visitors are allowed entry as long as they do not disturb the order of the academic palace. The old grandmaster opened his eyes, examining Lu Chenju. "Are you the one who performed reverse tack break 2 a while ago?" Lu Chenju hadn't expected news of his action to have spread so widely. "It is my junior." Promising, "Go ahead." The grandmaster watched as Lu Chenju disappeared up the mountain path and muttered to himself. The battle for the absolute peak in the future, Hong Tianxiang is about to meet his match. Owners of the 4 great Taoist body, each a peerless prodigy of an era. These people all have the potential to advance to the absolute peak. Ascending to the absolute peak requires a vast amount of resources. It's manageable at lower realms, but once one's realm is high, many resources become as scarce as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns, or even unique. Even with the opening of the void realm and the signs of a great era, it's difficult to birth multiple absolute peaks at the same time. Not to mention the old and core generations of strong figures. The new generation that has emerged in the last half-century, Taoist bodies, Buddha bodies, and various martial bone Tao embryos, are also numerous. The fastest among these, like Qi Jingxian and Zhen Ding, are already grandmasters of their generation. Those just below are also at the level of a master in cultivation. And the younger ones in their early 20s, like Zhang Lingmiao and Hong Tianxiang, are also martial arts masters. In the eyes of the old-timers in the martial arts world, Lu Chenju's talents before the reverse attack break 2, although he was the top seed of Dragon City, were not enough to compete with the 4 great Taoist body. But now there are faint signs of catching up. Such a person is the most terrifying. Up until now, there have been no rumors about Lu Chenju's martial bone Tao embryo, and the natural talents he has demonstrated do not match any known martial bone Tao embryo. His potential goes beyond that. What does it mean to make rapid progress? This is it. In 6 years, he went from an obscure high school student to a prodigy on par with those born to higher status, like the owners of Taoist and Buddha bodies. A miracle is the only description. Some even suspect that Lu Chenju has consumed top-level heavenly materials and earthly treasures, such as the theoretically possible, but never before seen, 100,000-year vermilion fruit. The void realm is vast and infinite, full of unlimited opportunities. In theory, if one is lucky enough, even a mortal can achieve enlightenment in a moment. Hidden Immortal Rock. Originally, it was an unnamed cave of the immortals shrouded in misty clouds. Legend has it, Zhang Zu cultivated Tao here. The master was also known as Hidden Immortal, thus it was renamed Hidden Immortal Rock. Many have verified that this place holds the secret to understanding Tao Yun. Countless seekers of enlightenment come here. When Lu Chenju arrived, there were more than a dozen people. Those in Zhenwu palace uniforms, on the other hand, were few. After all, it was in their backyard, where oddities are commonplace. Those who could understand the Tao had already done so. Those who could not might sit in contemplation for 20 years, without grasping the golden core path. At most, they end up with a kidney stone. As soon as Lu Chenju arrived, he immediately became the center of attention. The top seed of Dragon City has come. A few days ago, he achieved reverse attack break 2. Fearsome indeed. Unknowingly, Lu Chenju's name has already spread far and wide, and wherever he goes, he is recognized. Isn't this Brother Lu? A surprised voice came through. It was Gu Lingtong. Lu Chenju asked with a smile. Mr. Gu, are you here to comprehend the Tao as well? Gu Lingtong sighed and said, Yes, I've been in seclusion here for 3 days without eating or drinking. Have you then achieved comprehension? Just now, I've had a slight enlightenment and am preparing to head back home. Listening to their conversation, the other seekers cast envious glances. How wonderful, enlightenment achieved in just 3 days. This is the son of the unbreakable Taoist, skilled in both inner and outer studies with extraordinary comprehension. I've been sitting dry for 7 days, I'm reaching my limit. I've lived here for a month and still fall short. Zhang Zu was the first in human history to attempt to break through 6 shackles, and although he failed, his strength is still among the top in the history of Taoist predecessors. The Tao Yun left by the old master is not easily comprehended. Take your time. Maybe only those with the martial bone Tao embryo can comprehend the Tao in a day. I heard Qi Jingxian comprehended it in half a day, and Zhang Lingmiao and Hong Tianxiang were similar. The most impressive is Xuanwu Taoist. He understood the Tao at a glance, truly worthy of being called the reincarnation of Zhang Zu. Amidst their conversations, they couldn't help but look towards the newly arrived Lu Chenju. This rising star, many compared with the owners of Taoist and Buddha bodies. They wondered how many days it would take to comprehend the Tao Yun left by Zhang Zu. Chapter 412. 268 Zhang Zu reveals holiness, yin-yang divine seed, 4K for monthly tickets and subscriptions. Taoist body possessors are born close to the Tao, and it's quite normal for them to comprehend in half a day. Lu Chenju, though exceptionally talented, did not have a Taoist body. Being able to comprehend in 1 day was already quite impressive. Lu Chenju swept away the dust and sat cross-legged beneath Hidden Immortal Rock. On the cliff face were carvings of Taoists with fist figures filled with a simple Tao Yun. Heavenly Master Zhang, the founder of Tai Chi boxing lineage. Tai Chi boxing should be the boxing lineage with the deepest impact on inner boxing. The Tai Chi boxing carved on the rock wall was the most primitive version of Tai Chi boxing, which according to current theory would only be a third-rate fist technique. But like Black Tiger Fist, this version had been improved by innumerable sages and had long since evolved to encompass myriad methods, until it gave rise to the supreme divine skill of the Zhenwu Palace. True martial 7-section sword. Unconsciously, Lu Chenju finished looking at the 72 fist manuals, couldn't help but stand up and began to practice the forms. Right ward off, white crane spreads wings, brush knee twist step, strum the lute, step forward, deflect, parry and punch. Return to the starting position, left ward off, cross hands, finish. After the practice on the martial arts tree, leaves began to grow. Tai Chi boxing, proficient 1%. Not only that, the leaves shone with light. With inspiration, one achieves twice the result with half the effort. Tai Chi boxing was the most fundamental of fist techniques, and many movements were interchangeable with elephant form boxing. With Lu Chenju's current comprehension and martial arts foundation, becoming proficient upon first learning it was normal. Not to mention, he had inspiration to aid him. Lu Chenju had no intention to switch to Taoist cultivation, but considering that his pure yang unlimited shield was a Taoist martial arts technique practiced in a cross-training manner, if Tai Chi boxing were practiced to perfection, enhancing some Taoist martial arts foundation and comprehension might indeed help with his cross-training cultivation. With this thought in mind, he looked at the carvings on the rock wall and began to practice. Onlookers watched the figure moving through the forms with grace and firmness. the epitome of softness within strength. Is Brother Lu intending to comprehend the Tao through practicing Tai Chi boxing? Someone asked. It's useless. Comprehension of the Tao all depends on one's comprehension, another remarked. Indeed, we Dazia people mostly know a few moves of Tai Chi boxing, as after all, the foundational fist techniques like elephant form are derived from simplifications of it. I'm from the Buddhist sect and I've been here for a month. I've perfected my Tai Chi boxing, yet I still can't comprehend the Tao. Could it be that Heavenly Master Zhang does not wish to pass on the Tao to Buddhism? Don't mock. Heavenly Master Zhang was proficient in the three religions, not fixated on the distinctions between Buddhism and Taoism. Back when he was alive, your Buddhist sect had no answer when questioned. Tensions rose, but someone quickly intervened. Let's also practice the boxing. Maybe we'll comprehend something. Exactly, training alongside a martial prodigy cannot be wrong. And so a group began to practice Tai Chi boxing. Gu Lingtong had intended to leave, but decided to stay for a while longer. He was curious how long it would take for Brother Lu to comprehend Heavenly Master Zhang's Tao Yun. Looking at Brother Lu's state, it seems he's been blessed with inspiration. There were rumors in the world that Lu Chenju possibly possessed the heart of Tao pure brightness talent. Previously at Magic City's Dinglong Hall, having observed absolute peak strength in gun training, he also experienced inspiration. Envy was all they could feel. Beneath the rock face, the martial arts tree continuously prompted in Lu Chenju's mind. Tai Chi boxing, proficient 100%, right arrow mastery 1%. The more he practiced Tai Chi boxing, the smoother it became. As he did, he perceived the Tao Yun between heaven and earth, and unwittingly he started to hear the voice of a Taoist, playful like a child. 80 autumns in this mortal world, a lifetime recalled starts anew. Whoosh! Opening his eyes, a new world revealed itself. Outside hidden immortal rock, the waterfall hung reversed like a curtain of water. Deep within the mist, a line of cranes rose to the blue sky. Inside hidden immortal cave, a sloppy Taoist with a bamboo staff and straw sandals, his clothing ragged and unkempt, not bothered by minor details, his temples adorned with curled whiskers, was practicing the fist technique that influenced Da Zia's martial arts for generations to come. Tai Chi boxing. According to the martial arts history of Da Zia, LV Zhu of the Dragon Dynasty broke the fifth chains, forging a realm beyond even that of land immortals before passing away, and in later times, both the Buddhist and Taoist sects brought forth great grandmasters. However, ultimately, none ventured into the end realm and transcended instead. History's wheels churned forward, arriving at the time of the Great Capital Dynasty. As LV Zhu departed, Zhang Zhu was born. Zhang Zhu was also a legendary figure. In his later years, he ventured into Zhongnan Mountain seeking immortality, where he was taught by Red Dragon True Man. It was said that Red Dragon True Man was in fact a mythological figure in the Taoist history of this world. While there might have been historical prototypes, there were never such elevated beings. After all, if one were truly to take this into account, such a being mentioned repeatedly in the account of various Taoist sect founders would amount to a lifespan exceeding 1,000 years, which was implausible with the martial arts standards of the past. Even the heavenly king of martial arts lived only 9 Jiazi. The lifespan of an absolute peak being was unknown to Lu Chenju. Only the absolute peak strong were privy to such knowledge, and even then, it was hard to imagine it surpassing 1,000 years. Of course, there was another academic theory, positing that Red Dragon True Man did indeed exist. Perhaps his power was ordinary, but due to possessing a special Taoist body, or having consumed heavenly materials and earthly treasures, his lifespan had been different from the average man's, similar to Peng Zhu. It was rumored that Peng Zhu lived to 880 years old, the Pio Dao ancestor of Wuyi Mountain. To return to the matter at hand, after receiving the method, Zhang Zhu devoted himself to the study of the primary heavenly master Zhang's outer elixir method and LV Zhu's inner elixir method, ultimately deeming the inner elixir skill to be the correct path to immortality. Afterward, Heavenly Master Zhang established a Taoist place of practice at Wuding Mountain, founding the most flourishing Taoist sect of the old times, True Martial Sect, North Shaolin, and Nanshan True Martial. Lu Chenju watched the figure before him. The Tai Chi boxing was as expressive as splattered ink, free from constraints of form, each movement in perfect harmony with the universe, and though it was Tai Chi boxing, It enlightened him also on the theory behind elephant form boxing. Across eons, with Zhang Zhu demonstrating the technique personally, he followed along, forgetting time. On Wudang Mountain, every blade of grass, every tree was under the surveillance of powerful beings. Lu Chenju was not concerned about safety.